Hey everyone, it's Kenji. We're going to make some French bread pizza with sausage and Giardiniera. So this pizza is, French bread pizza. You know, French bread pizza I think is originally from Ithaca, New York. It comes from a truck in Ithaca, New York. But I have a recipe for French bread pizza. I think I've made a video about this before where I made the pepperoni version. You know, I find that the best French bread pizza is not made just on French bread, but specifically on crummy French bread from the supermarket that is not, nothing like any bread you would actually find in France, but what we call French bread in the supermarket. So I'm going to start actually with a little bit of butter, about a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to put in the skillet here, some olive oil. About a tablespoon of olive oil. All right. And we're also going to take some garlic. All right. Let's say today let's do 3 cloves. Yeah. 1, 2. We'll just trim off the ends. So yeah, you don't want to use like a baguette or something like that. I want this kind of softer, fluffier French bread. This one I just got from this is the best I could find at the supermarket. It's this kind of take and bake stuff from Pete's here in East Lake. But if your market has like a bakery in it where they make their own French bread, or it gets delivered from somewhere, daily, that'll do you better. But this stuff works just fine. All right, we're gonna melt our butter and olive oil here. Get our garlic right in there. I'm going to make some coffee also. And when we do this, we don't want to cook it too much. I don't want it to brown or anything. So basically, I'm just going to let the heat of that cast iron pan do the work for me. A little bit of chili. And then I'm also going to do garlic powder. So a combination of fresh garlic and garlic powder, I think, gives it the requisite garlic flavor. Garlic powder is it's not a replacement for fresh garlic. It's just a real different flavor. So oftentimes I will use both in a given recipe. All right, we're gonna split our crummy French loaf. Crummy, get it? All right. I'll take the pan from my toaster oven and then I'm gonna kind of squish this down just a little bit. Because I find, one of the problems with when you're trying to make French bread pizza is that the French bread gets a little bit soggy from the tomato sauce. So I do a couple things to kind of counteract that. One of them is to squish it down a little bit, okay? And then the other is that I'm gonna give it a few layers of protection. So first of all, we will brush it with some garlic oil. This will partly give it protection, but it will also block some of that, that oil layer is gonna block some of the tomato sauce from soaking into that bread. All right. All right, then I'm gonna take some mozzarella cheese. This is whole milk mozzarella, not part skim, but you want whole milk dry mozzarella. Okay, we're gonna do just a little bit of it to add a sort of protective layer here, an undercoat of mozzarella. All right, and then we're gonna pop it in our oven. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to the oven. This Balmuda oven is from Japan. It has a little steam function, so you pour a little bit of water in there and then it steams the bread as it cooks, which is real nice for when you're heating bread It helps it crisp better. It also keeps it moister. Anyway, so we're gonna let that go for a couple minutes just to melt that cheese. Meanwhile, I'm gonna grate a little bit more cheese as the top coat. We got an undercoat and a top coat. I'm also going to do a little bit of basil. And then I'm going to do this sort of Chicago style topping. So like on a modern Chicago thin crust pizza, the real common toppings of choice are, well, tomato sauce, cheese, and then sausage and hot Giardiniera. I don't have hot Giardiniera, but I have this hot muffaletta from JP Graciano, which is, well, from Chicago. They make some good products. We're going to use some of that. We're going to use some basil. I'm also going to do a little bit of pepperoni. It's kind of almost like a, I don't know, not a supreme, I guess, because a supreme would have like peppers and mushrooms and onions, but we'll do pepperoni, sausage, and that hot muffaletta. I'm also having some coffee because I actually have a lot of work to do tonight after this is all done. So we got that protective layer of garlic, butter, and cheese. So when we put our tomato sauce on, it doesn't soak in to the bread and make it all soggy like, you know? I don't know about you, but I don't like my French bread pizza all soggy like. What are some foods that are better soggy? I'd say when you put tempura in udon, you know, like the Japanese do, and it gets a little bit soggy, that's delicious. When, let's see. Oh, tres leches cake. My friend Connor, my Irish friend Connor, last time I asked this, a similar question, he said tres leches. I don't know why I can't pronounce it today. Three milks cake is better soggy. In fact, you soak it. All right, we got our tomato sauce. We're gonna get our second layer of mozzarella here. I think that's a good amount. Let's put some pepperoni here first. Let's say this much. The pepperoni kind of shrinks when it cooks, so it's fine to really pile it on, I think. It's also delicious, so it's fine to pile it on. All right, and then we'll do some sausage. Sausage goes on raw on pizza. If you ever go to a pizza shop and they have cooked sausage, I'm not going to tell you they're doing it wrong, but you know they're doing it wrong. Raw sausage, it goes on the pizza, so it cooks as the pizza finishes cooking, and you know the fat from the sausage kind of renders out as the pizza cooks, and adds flavor to it. Okay, a few little dollops here and there. All right, and then I'm going to do some of this hot muffaletta mix. This also goes on kind of in little dollops here and there. I think I have a real old recipe on Serious Eats for a muffaletta pizza, which is like, you know, pizza with a few, you know, a muffaletta is the classic sandwich from New Orleans, you know, it's made on like a sesame loaf of bread, soft bread, that's almost sort of like focaccia, but with sesame, and it's round. And then it's got this olive salad, the muffaletta mix, olive salad, and then it's got a whole bunch of cold cuts and provolone cheese, all thinly sliced. this is Parmesan, by the way. Some sandwiches, you want a lot of air in them, you know? So like I was working on this mortadella sandwich for a bakery that I work with in San Mateo, California. The mortadella sandwich, the real important ingredient for that mortadella sandwich is air. You know, you want a little extra air in there. Let's get this in the oven, by the way. This time I'm going to go no moisture. So this mortadella sandwich at Backhaus in San Mateo, actually in Burlingame, the Burlingame location, this mortadella sandwich, the real important ingredient in that mortadella sandwich is air. You take the really thinly sliced pieces of mortadella and you kind of fluff them up as you're putting them on the sandwich so that it's kind of nice and fluffy. And when you eat it, the air is an essential part of sort of that whole experience. Whereas with a muffaletta, your sandwich ingredients, your cold cuts are really thinly sliced and they are kind of stacked together, so there's no air in between them at all, and the sandwich is almost compressed so that the olive salad and the olive oil kind of soaks into the bread. So two real different takes on a cold cut sandwich. And in some, you know, so you got to think about air not as an essential ingredient, not as a thing that you want to include all the time, or not as a thing that you want to get rid of all the time, but as an ingredient unto itself that you have to think about. So sometimes you want air and sometimes you don't. And there's no right or wrong to this, of course, but it's just like any other ingredient. It's about making a conscious choice and just really thinking about the fact that the amount of air inside a sandwich is going to fundamentally change the way that sandwich eats. Anyhow, this is my aside while waiting for my pizza to finish cooking. Let's see if we're done. I think we can go another minute. All right. Let's see where we are, huh? Woo! Let's do a little bit of basil. And a little bit of post-oven parm. POP, a little pop, post-oven parm. Yep. And finally, a little bit of the fancy olive oil. How does that look? Jesus. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. Shall we cut into it and see what we got? Whoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, yeah. Garlicky, cheesy, flavor packed, but you see the bread doesn't get soggy because of that garlic layer we put in there. Oh, hi, cat. Hi, Gohan. I'm gonna finish eating this pizza and get some writing done and go to bed in that order. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, I'll see you later.